Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Earlier today, the Nebraska men's basketball team was recognized for their academic achievement this past year. The program received the NABC Team Academic Excellence Award. The award is given to men's basketball programs that completed the academic year with a team GPA of 3.0 or higher. It's the second time in the last 3 years that Nebraska has been honored by the NABC. In other Husker basketball news, Leo Curtis continued action at the U20 Eurobasket tournament in Greece today. His Iceland team fell to Romania 72-57, despite Curtis finishing with 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. It was the first time in the 5 tournament games that he failed to reach double figures. Iceland will be back in action on Saturday. In national news, NBA star Damian Lillard has signed a 3-year, $42 million deal to return to the Portland Trail Blazers. And day one of the Open Championship was today. Matt Fitzpatrick and Harris English are among 5 players at 4 under par to lead the way. Matthew Jordan and Scotty Scheffler are 2 of 4 players at 3 under and are in a tie for 6th. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Tight formation, turn, toss it off to a little end around by Barney. He's at the 10-5, touchdown Nebraska. Ja'Cory Barney slips in there, taking the pitch on the end around from 10 yards out. Nebraska stretches the lead to 20-3.
Pickens with a 1-2. Bland rolls the ground ball to third. Gibson charges, backhand stop, throw. The first to throw, wild! Runner safe at first. Squire scores. Now Lauren Camden's in around third. She dives in safely. The throw wide of the plate. Bland around third. She's gonna score! Everybody scores! Everybody scores! A Little League 3-run home run for Sammy Bland. 3-1 Nebraska.
Between the circles now to Wooster and to Morgan. Back to the basket. Comes left. Dribble handoff to Asijan. Took a bump. Drives it. Puts it up. Got it! Holy smokes, what a great goal by Connor Asijan. He's not just a three-point shooter, my friends. 70-67.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome in to Sports Nightly. Full 2 hours headed your way tonight. Our last live show of the week here on this Thursday night. I'm Jessica Coody with Nick Hanley. Nick, we've got quite the treat coming up here in just a few minutes. We had some headshots that we had to get taken today for football media guides, and so I sprung it on the guys. But Kyle, Ben, Coatney, me, all sat down for a little bit of a round table that I wrangled them into. So we're going to bring that to you here this afternoon. But yeah, it was fun to see those guys. You know you're getting closer to football season when those guys start coming around.
So is Ben's headshot going to be like 2025 Ben and not 2007 Ben?
Yeah, he said he thought it was 2008. So.
Oh, I was close. Wow,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
2008?
So you might have been being a little bit facetious, but I think it was pretty close. So,
oh
yes,
my Lord.
We have updated it. That's for sure. So.
That's good. That's good. That is good to hear, and I'm sure that there was a lot of good content discussed on this once you can get them all in the same room. So I look forward to hearing this.
So we'll have that coming up for you in hour number 1, and hour number also in this hour we'll hear from Tristan Alvano. I had a chance to catch up with him this week, so we'll bring you that conversation. In hour number 2, we've got Tom Welter. Kyle was able to catch up with a few of the newest inductees to the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. So we'll bring you that conversation in hour number 2. And joke of the week time, David is back in the seat tonight. So he wanted to get, for someone that we had to twist his arm to do it, he kind of likes doing it now. So he's back.
Yeah, not shocked by that at all. Probably because he delivered. He provided a banger, and now he's got a standard.
He's addicted to it. He's addicted
I like
to
it. Attaboy.
Well, hey. One thing off the top here, how about the Minnesota volleyball match? They post tickets on sale this morning for the match against Nebraska, and not surprising, but surprise, surprise, Nebraska volleyball once again another sellout in record time for Minnesota.
Yeah, and it's you can thank all these other I shouldn't say the other schools should be thanking Nebraska and the fan base, because whether it's kind of funny though. You always think of like, well, Minnesota's drivable and Iowa's drivable, and all the teams in the Big Ten that you can have a manageable road trip to. Of course, Nebraska fans are going to show up, but you see that out, and if they're playing in LA, you see that if they're playing out on the East Coast in Piscataway or in State College, that the fans, whether they make the travel or you just have Husker fans, they're like, works out great. We saw that in baseball as well when we were out in California, and there was a nice smattering of Nebraska fans that made their way out there too. That this never amazes me, because this is where there's so much about the volleyball conversation that I think we have to do a good job of stopping for a moment and just being able to appreciate how not only the type of team and the program that they have there, but also the type of support that they get. That I think there's just a lot of things when you're a winner, like that volleyball program is, and the fans that support it on a consistent basis, you put in that category as well as just a winning formula. It's easy to expect things like this, to where you don't stop for a moment and appreciate how impressive it is, whether it's selling out a game in record time, or when you ask everybody to make their way to Memorial Stadium to watch a once and possibly a lifetime event, and that thing is able to produce over 90,000. It's those things I know we expect because we're here, we're living it, and we know how people support this volleyball program, but it needs, I think it's little stop and appreciate moments as well.
Well, and I think it's cool too when you mentioned that day, and here even just over the last couple weeks, it seems like there's been, like, ESPN tweeted about it, hey, reminiscing on this day, and there's been different things that have come out that it is still mind-blowing to people that what was done here, even though I go back to, as special as it was, I'm not sure people in the state were as surprised, but it's still just completely awes the outside world of what was done here. And not to, diminish it at all and not give it its due. It was unbelievable. I hung up. I wasn't even here, but I was given a part of the court, and because I was able to do some interviews leading up to it, and what my dad and brother got to come, and I didn't because I was at the football team. But as special as it is, it's still, I think, it's still hard for the outside world of Nebraska to grasp that is doable absolutely here.
And to the point, though, of maybe the outside world and outside the state of Nebraska, there's a little bit of that rock star mentality that I think has now been following Nebraska beyond just here in the state. But, those examples of when you are getting ready to play a Big Ten opponent and it sells out. I mean, we remember when Caitlin Clark was chasing history in her final season with Iowa, and it became the road show, the Caitlin Clark road show. And that's nothing against Iowa's basketball team that year, but I'm sorry, those people that were waiting outside where the lines were snaking around the entire auditorium to get in, they weren't there to watch the entire Iowa basketball team. They were there to see one player, and that's that rock star status. And you obviously earned that status by how you handle yourself on the floor. And in this case for volleyball, it's a program that it's been propped, I think, in that similar light, where it's a very formidable group, but it's also a very likable group. And the way that they have marketed themselves, the way that the university and the athletic department has marketed volleyball, but the social media impact, and that they're very accessible, and they're always stopping to sign autographs for young fans and old fans too. It doesn't matter, that you have this group of women that when they get on the floor, they are as cutthroat and as competitive and as cold-blooded as you're going to see in the sport. You get them off the floor, and they couldn't be better representatives and ambassadors of the sport. And then you have this amazing moment of filling up an entire college football stadiums in one of the bigger stadiums in college football, to where there is not an empty space to watch. And then you have the E60 documentary that comes out that, again, it reaches to a national audience of, yeah, remember this unique event, but then you're following them around, and all of a sudden, outside of Nebraska, you have an entire sports viewing audience that feels like they know a little bit more about these women that represent. And that will continue as these players graduate. A new wave of players will go in, but that brand and playing for this team, and I think this is just another example of that, it's that rock star status. And I tip my cap to the entire coaching staff, and it's obviously a new coach that will have to navigate these waters. But to be able to keep this team level-headed to where it doesn't impact them, to where you're seeing it on the floor, that they're able to take that in stride and kind of embrace it. And based on a lot of the social media interaction that they have with their fans, they embrace that status. And I think it's a great thing for the coaching staff to let them show that personality. That's why I think people appreciate and enjoy them that much more.
You know, on that note, it's crazy. Yesterday, we went out to Hendricks and to do some basketball interviews, and they had volleyball camps going on, and obviously well attended. I feel like every time I went out there this summer, there was a very well attended camp for multiple sports, but volleyball camp was no question. And they were the way the players were walking around, they were rock stars, and with all those young girls, and they are just such tremendous role models. And you're talking about players that haven't even played an official match for Nebraska that are rock stars. And so I know that we talk a lot about how appreciated that these student athletes are, the volleyball players, how big of a deal they are here at Nebraska. But I think something hit me yesterday that I hadn't really thought of before. And talking to these freshmen that don't seem like freshmen, that is something that you basically step into, that you have to be ready for when you get here. It's not like you grow into it, like maybe certain other sports. I know people follow sports and know who the recruits are, but that rock star status, it's almost like immediately when you step on campus, you got to be ready to embrace that and be okay with it, because there's really no grace period in settling in, because that's how big of a deal they are here.
Isn't that another element of the recruiting profile that unfortunately there isn't a measurable for that, of how you handle things like that? And it's rare in a lot of different sports. I think football is probably more common, especially for the upper half of the SEC, the upper half of the Big Ten, and the power conferences, the Power Four conferences, and the consistent winners that have those rabid fan bases, that you're going to see football players and you're going to look at them in awe, because those are the athletes that you're looking up to. But I think for volleyball, and I think John Cook always did a great job of this. I'm very confident, because she was one of these recruits. Danny Busboom-Kelly will also do a great job of this, and I think Terry Pettit did a great job of this. And that is, talent's one thing. And I think all three of those coaches have shown, and Danny Busboom-Kelly will now show it at Nebraska, that their system will continue to develop that talent as such. And they will have that young talent from a physical standpoint ready to play and be in big matches and do the things that got them recruited to a place like Nebraska. But there's the other part of it, of when you're recruiting one of these very talented volleyball players, what can you gauge from that mental fortitude? What can you gauge from the type of personality that they have shown during the recruiting process, and being able to make as best observation as you can can they handle this? Because that has to be a question when you're recruiting some of these players of, look, this is cool, right? You can play in a football stadium that's going to sell out. You can go to Big Ten venues on the road and they will sell out because you're the draw, not the home team. At most occasions. I shouldn't say that for Penn State and Minnesota and Wisconsin. They still are the draw there for their home team. But, hey, those places, Wisconsin's not selling out every game. They're playing Nebraska. Yeah, they're selling out because they know that that's a big match. So there's a lot of eyes that are going to be on you. There's going to be a target when it comes to the competition, more so than any other team in the conference. But when you're out and about just trying to be a college student, there are going to be a lot of people that it's not malicious, but just they want to get your attention because you're a big deal. You're a big deal to them. And it sounds cool on the surface, but when you're not used to it, it can be tough to transition and be okay with that or be comfortable with that. And I think that's another element of when you're trying to identify talent on this volleyball team, to be able to not only find the physical part of it, but the type of mental toughness, but also personality that's going to be okay with that. That isn't necessarily going to fully embrace it 100%, but is going to be good enough to maintain that consistency when it comes to the way all of those players represent this volleyball program. I don't think it takes very long for, especially out-of-staters, when they set foot on Nebraska for the first time, whether it's during a scrimmage, a practice, recruiting visit, and realize how big of a deal this volleyball program is to the state. The question is, can you handle that type of access that the fans want? Can you handle that type of attention that the fans want? Because it's not always, the dream. Sometimes, like, yeah, I need my moment. I want to have my privacy, and that's fine. And I think for the most part, fans will understand that. But there's always going to be a young girl or boy that wants an autograph. And so can you balance all of that? I think it's very remarkable to see how they do handle that, especially at the age of 18 and 19.
I think that's where, too, we had this conversation a week or so ago when we were talking about, the rev share and these other different programs trying to grow their volleyball program, investing in volleyball, because, I think Danny Bestman-Kelly is I think she's proven she's one of the best coaches in college volleyball, and she's going to maintain what has been in place here. But she's also one to point out to what has been established here is unlike anywhere else. And so when people have the argument about, the transfer part of it, and when you lose a coach like John Cook and then people stay for Danny Busboom-Kelly, a lot of it was for DBK. But a lot of it, too, I think also is, despite the coaching change, there's still very few programs, maybe two, that has what's in place here, because it is just so far ahead. Nebraska volleyball is so far ahead of everywhere else. And so I don't necessarily that when other programs and other sports have coaching changes and people just flood to the transfer portal immediately, I think that's what's special about Nebraska. And both John Cook points to what was done before him. Danny Busboom-Kelly points to what's done before her, and even what she was a part of building as a player, is that it's bigger than just a coach. And so when players come here and want to be a part of this, it's not just about that. Where this place is different than other programs, where it's when people are, we're shocked that nobody went into the transfer portal. I don't know if I was shocked, because you still are not going to find very many places, if any, like this. And not taking anything away from Coach Cook or Danny Busboom-Kelly, I think they're the first to point out to what has been built here, that you can have that transition and you don't have to worry about that as much.
And I think that's how in tune the volleyball player is. I think there's a lot of student athletes that are in tune to maybe their situation at their respective school, but as far as that sport that they're playing in and the entire world and the entire landscape and culture, I think for the most part, the majority of the student athletes are in tune to what's going on, and they could identify a strong culture as opposed to a bad culture. But sometimes you're so in your own bubble, and you're trying to just fit into your own system that you don't really see what's outside there. And the reason I bring that up, and to your point, Jessica, is this is nothing against Terry Pettit, John Cook, or Danny Busboom-Kelly. They're not the draw. They're part of the draw.
Yeah.
But the reason they're part of the draw is the culture that they have continued to harbor, the culture that they've continued to make very strong, where they don't need to be the ultimate lure to come play volleyball at the University of Nebraska. The program, and as you alluded to there too, the program, and we've heard a lot of coaches say this about any big program, consistent winning program, that it's bigger than the individual. And that, in my opinion, includes the coaches. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just the fans. You've got so many different elements that make it this big thing that you can't just point to one thing and say, that's why I want to play volleyball at Nebraska. You essentially take the all-encompassing program itself. Has a lot to do with the coaches, has a lot to do with the caliber of player that they attract, has a lot to do with the fans, has a lot to do with the conference. You can't just look at one thing and say, this is why I'm going. Now, I'm sure there's players that say, this element of that was the most appealing to me. But I think when it comes down to it, these are very intuitive student athletes. These are very intuitive players. They understand the culture that they're in, but also the bigger picture of the sport itself, that there are some really bad cultures. There are some volleyball programs that maybe they're able to get a lot of talent, but they can't keep that talent, or they don't know what to do with that talent, or the fan base doesn't support that talent. There's a lot of different things that can work against them. I think they understand that this thing is bigger than them, and it's hard to not want to be a part of that.
Well, I wasn't even planning on spending the whole first segment talking about volleyball, but I'm not mad that we did. But here we are, you and I, once again, going completely off tangent from what we had planned to do. That's okay. All right, coming up next, got a fun conversation. Kyle Krooks, the new voice of Husker football, Ben McLaughlin, Matt Coatney, myself, were able to sit down today, have a fun conversation. So we're going to bring that to you next here on Sports Nightly. Hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and save on our full lineup of new vehicles with Employee Pricing Plus going on right now. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie for just $399 per month. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue or online anytime at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com or WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com today. 42 months, 5,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax title license extra. For well-qualified returning leasees. $1,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number C250805. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
more.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly, and boy, oh boy, look what we have here. What a treat. I did not plan this. I just kind of sprung this on everybody, but quite the, what is a four-person? A trio?
Does it qualify as a round table?
A round table, there
Round
you go.
table,
because we're kind of
the who's who of Huskers Radio Network here. Kyle Krooks, the newbie, is here, and then Matt Coatney, Ben McLaughlin here with us. We were putting together new headshots. Ben's finally getting one from updating from his college headshot.
If you think back to where I was in my life compared to where I was now, between headshots, like you could almost write a book or cast a movie. Like just a single dude in college and now married, soon to be 3 kids, full-time big boy job, right? Like I'm living a whole different life.
So the SID folks, Seamus putting together the new guides for upcoming Big Ten Media Days, and he showed me the page. Kyle needed a new headshot, but I think it's safe to say we all needed new headshots. Coatney's in a green shirt. I was on the field, so I was like, let's all get them knocked out. So you guys are here, so I was like, let's just do a segment.
Jess got me to come in today because she said we need some eye candy, and that's why I'm here.
I'm not buying that she said this wasn't planned. I mean, she plans everything. She's the ones that keeps us all together.
That's right.
No, I was getting ready to do a mean mug for the headshot. You know, I was talking to our guy over there. I was like, do I have to smile, sort of mean mug it? And so I smiled.
Okay.
It's good, yeah.
I think we all smiled.
Bruin made him smile. Yeah.
Well, how do you guys like the new studio?
I had no idea. Like, I knew it was here, but walking off the elevator, like I wasn't prepared for what I was going to see. I was just like, oh, this is not the football office anymore. It's really nice. Like, I don't know what we did to deserve this, if we did anything to deserve it, but it's done now. They can't take it away from us.
And then
it's
for
really
you
good.
and DB and Coat for game day, we made sure the big TV made it.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing we needed was something else to distract Damon during a talk show.
Do these chairs go up as high as the old ones? Kyle, I'm going to tell you, Damon Benning, you need a saddle to come in after his seat is this high. And I always have to come in, you know, after he takes all of his stuff away from the first 2 hours of pregame, and I got to lower that chair every time. So we'll see. I might hide the Damon Benning chair over here.
Well, Ben had a chance to meet Kyle when he was here for his interview. I know you've been chatting with him. I guess I know it's the whole process. We've talked a lot about it. Has been hard for us, but then we're excited to have a new team member here.
Yeah.
How much have you enjoyed getting to chat with Kyle today?
Well, first of all, his credentials are impeccable, and the first person that talked to me about you was Julian Asibe, women's basketball assistant, who remembers you from his time at Florida, and he had great things to say. So anybody who has a background in women's basketball, I'm obviously going to be a fan of immediately. I just think that Kyle is going to fit in here like a glove. You know, I think that our fans love our broadcast, and Ben, I know you get this, Jess, you get this. They feel like we're part of their family. And so Kyle already understands that. He was showing me some fan mail he got earlier today, some great stuff. So very, very excited. Welcome to the team officially. And I know you're going to have great success here. We're going to do everything we can to help you with that.
Yeah, it's great to meet everybody for the first time. This is the first time I get to meet you, Coatney, and first time outside of the lunch on the interview, Ben, get a chance to chat with you, and I know we'll get a chance to chat more. But understanding what this broadcast means to a lot of people and how much you guys have built this to the next level, whether it's Big Red Reaction at, I was talking with Coatney in my office before, when he's going to get off the air for the Kansas City game. It's going to be 3 a.m. and people are still going to be calling, and how that has become an institution to this broadcast, and what Greg meant to everybody. And Ben, I know what Greg meant to you as a great, best friends, and of course meant to you, Jessica and Damon and everybody. So stepping into this role, there is a lot of weight to it for sure, but I know that I can lean on a lot of you guys, and I've leaned on Jess a lot here in the early stages of this entire process, and just understanding what what this means to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I would completely echo what Damon said about it. And the biggest thing that we really needed was somebody to fit the team, right? Because Greg held us all together all the time. And if you needed to know about the weather, if you were on a flight, whether he knew what time it was or not, he would let you know that if your flight's delayed, you find out before American Airlines told you. So just to find somebody that kind of fit the team and kind of fill that missing void that we had, I think was paramount to all of us, right? And one thing that's very clear with you is, one, you're passionate, and that's, you can't teach that, you can't fake that, you can't force that. I think any broadcaster would tell you that. Your passion for this place was more than evident when you were here and we spoke the first time. It was the first thing I admired about you. And then just the ease. I mean, you've met all of us now and you haven't left for Florida. So that, I mean, that's pretty telling that you're able to stomach all of us too, because that's, like I said, it's, we're all kind of cogs in the wheel and help each other out. And that's been very clear, is that, you're part of the team now. And, I couldn't be more happy and excited and anxious, as we all are, for the first game to see how this goes. But, I mean, I think in terms of what this thing's going to look like, I think we're in the best of hands.
It was funny because when Ben got here, he's walking up, and Coatney was already here, and I said, Coatney's up there giving Kyle the rundown, and Ben said, "Oh, Lord."
It's a loaded statement around here, giving him the rundown. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Kyle, did you know you're going to have to do a crash course in meteorology, though?
No, I didn't know that, but I will have everything, the weather app and everything ready to go, and I will know flight times and everything that you need to know. I guess I now step in as the logistics guy here for Husker Radio.
Make sure you tell Damon when to wear a coat.
And where to go.
So are you, Ben, so Damon is a big Windows closed guy.
Oh, yeah, he's
I've learned
soft.
that. I'm a Windows open
It's Windows
guy.
open.
So you're going to be next to me because you'll be, and I've heard you have an impeccable reputation as a spotter. So I look forward to
you do
for your stats and spotting. So I'll be sitting next to you. So I know that our half of the booth is going to be strong and tough and Big Ten gritty, while Damon's going to be like the old Pac-12, or is just like sort of like soft.
I say, have we delivered the lazy boy up into the booth for him yet?
I mean, who's throwing shots now, and who gets the first text from Damon after this segment airs?
Where is Damon?
He's probably waiting on Jessica to pick him up in Minneapolis still.
I've heard that
We'll all
story.
be on a group text with just maybe like a question mark.
Okay, so I did want to go back because I know when Kyle was doing his round robin of interviews, he went on with DB on the show, and they told the story of the lunch, and they were talking about Steelers back in the 70s, and you started grilling him. And so Kyle has told his perspective. How about you hop in and tell us your perspective?
Yeah, and I understand the reputation. I've been here long enough to know how people view me, but I just felt like at that time I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't get my own perspective on not just you, but if it was Jim Nantz in there, right? I just wanted to hear from the horse's mouth, myself, on questions that not only I was curious about, but I know Greg would be curious to know, and Amy would be curious to know, and how we would all kind of fit this in together. And in a way, I don't know really how to phrase it, but I wanted to not warn Kyle, but make sure he knew what comes with this. I didn't want to, try to scare him away or anything like that, but I just wanted to be real and, things that we've all dealt with, and, you can't make everybody happy all the time. And I know that the circumstances isn't what we've signed up for to, have somebody new here this year with everything that Greg went through, but that's the reality of our situation. That's not to say we can't bring somebody else in here and they can be part of our family also. So I guess it was more of just a warning flag for Kyle. It didn't maybe necessarily come across like that.
No, I think you know how DB tends to exaggerate some things.
But he's not wrong. There were definitely things that I needed to ask, whether it was Kyle or whoever else was there at that lunch. I just felt like I was asked there to be there for a reason, and it all comes from a place of me caring and my passion for not just the Huskers, but this radio network, and wanting it to be in good hands. And I did give a glowing endorsement of Kyle after the lunch. It wasn't all negative thoughts, but that's where it all came from.
I think the biggest thing, too, is understanding that, right, especially when the announcement came out and understanding everything that was sort of being thrown my way. And you were warning me during that time of, look, this is what's going to come of this. And Greg was beloved externally, internally. He was loved in every facet of what he did. So understanding that this is not going to be easy and you're going to get a lot of negative. So just be aware of that. But understanding there's a team and a foundation around me that's going to help me through that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The reality is the first year I'm going to need a little bit of that, right? Reading this article or that article, or you get 10 tweets after a game saying this, and that, and you're not this, and that. You know, the people I'm going to lean on are the people that I'm on the air with for 3 hours. So, you know, I didn't, you know, Damon, like you said, he likes to exaggerate certain things. And, you know, Ben was there. He had to know certain answers to certain questions. And I was in that mode already, considering I was in the interview process where that's the expectation of walking into anything. You're just going to get grilled and you have to answer questions. So I was just sort of in that mode. But I really appreciated that you had to get certain answers to certain questions. But I'm going to lean on you guys a lot. That's for sure.
It'll take exactly one Husker game day show in real time for you to understand that I need to straighten him out all the time, really, when it comes to, like, hey, the kindergarten, eyes on me, like we just get going on some tangents sometimes. And no, we poke at him, but Damon fills a role that no one else can fill on this team too. And it's exactly what you said, Kyle. Like, we're going to be here for you every step of the way through all the stuff. And it's for as good as we're all saying that we are on the air, we're going to mess up on that first game, right? Like, it's going to happen, but it's how we work through that and communicate and collaborate that we just continue to raise that bar. And that's the whole goal here, is just everybody helping each other out.
I would just hope that you try to be the best, Kyle, that you can be and not try to be anybody else, because no one can imitate yourself better than you can. And if you do that, then you're going to have a great future here. And just like Ben and Jessica have talked about, we're here to help. We're here to help. And I can't tell you how many times I tried to send you a note a couple years ago about trying to figure out the fifth quarter show. We did it during the broadcast. Ben McLaughlin. That's how much Benny Mack and I have worked together. Is we figured out some things that didn't get worked out in a meeting before. We figured it out while they were counting the 45 seconds in our head. And we were like, how are we doing this? And we're still doing it that way. So
Coach seen me at my worst, which isn't a pleasant sight.
And here's a mirror. Yeah, you've seen me at my worst too. So,
hey, Ben, you got a ring. We got rings. I haven't actually been able to show it.
I need to see it.
Yeah, and so Greg got one too. But
oh, wow.
Show the folks. Yeah.
Wow, look at this.
So do we wear them the first game?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So.
These are really sweet. Thanks.
It was my first Nebraska. You're wrapping them up these days, Ben.
Yeah, I told you. I said I had never owned a ring 18 months ago, and now a total of 3 in 18 months.
That's
like, I don't know what I'm doing, but let's keep doing that.
All right. Well, we'll be all on the air again together before we know it. But as we close out, how many wins, Coach?
9.
Love it. I won't make you guess.
I'm going to say 10 just to be popular.
Okay.
Well, dang. I'm not going to sit here and say 11.
Ben, 6 and 6.
Can I do 9.5? Is that? Can I play Switzerland here?
I set the bar high. She pointed at me first, so I had the easy answer.
All right, great stuff. Obviously, from our guys here that we'll be hearing lots more of here coming up in a few short weeks. Matt Coatney, Ben McLaughlin, and Kyle Krooks. We're going to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
Refine your luxury shopping experience when you purchase your next vehicle at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Receive 2.99% APR for 60 months on the full lineup of 2025 Genesis GV80s, plus up to $2,000 loyalty or competitive owner bonus. Visit our showroom in Village Point or online at southwestomahagenesis.com today. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra when financed with Genesis Finance. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. See dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Turn up the heat during the Honda Summer Event at Woodhouse Honda. Drive off in style with limited time offers happening now. Lease the 2025 Honda HR-V AWD LX for $299 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. Shop in store off Highway 281 in Grand Island or online at woodhousehonda.com. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. Security deposit waived. $2,499 due at signing, plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number GH250174. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic. Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Let's get right to it. Been able to have some conversations with some of the football players as they've been going through here, getting ready for the upcoming season, doing the internal media day. Had a chance to catch up with the kicker, Tristan Alvano, coming off last season where he was injured, was sidelined after the first few games of the season. So just starting off with how he's feeling and how he felt coming off of spring football, getting back healthy and back on the field. Let's go back to the end of spring. How did you feel coming back off the injury and when you closed out spring football?
Yeah, I think obviously, I feel healthy and I'm just really happy. Beginning of spring, I was just thrilled to be back out there. I mean, it'd been a long year for me and just a long journey. And I'm just really happy and thankful for everyone who helped me get healthy. So,
what was it like last year? What was the process like for you, just having to be patient and work through it? And then when you initially got shut down, what were some of the things you learned when you had to just be sidelined and wait your time?
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, I knew, having surgery in June, like it was going to be kind of tough to get back. And, I was able to help out the team in some ways for the first 3 games. And happy I got the opportunity to be out there. But, it's something I learned is it's really, really hard to do something when you're not healthy. So really just it was great to end up getting surgery again in October and attack the winter and get ready for spring. And now we're here. So let's go time.
So how do you feel just overall, not just with the injury, but just, what you've done in the weight room, just overall where you're at with your body going into this season?
Yeah, I think the strength's definitely back. I think, I've worked really hard in the weight room and put on muscle, and I think the strength and explosiveness is back. And so it's, now it just comes down to just ball striking and just trying to be as, consistent as I can and having the same approach for every kick. So, yeah.
How's Coach Eckler been, and what's he bringing to the special teams overall, the unit?
Yeah, Coach Eck's awesome. I mean, he's a lot of energy, really fiery, and he says he's getting more and more fiery as he gets older and older. So it's great to have him and, Coach Humphrey, his assistant, coming with us, and then Brett being full-time, and also keeping Coach Martin here. I mean, we got a really great special team staff and, a lot of eyes on us. And, we couldn't be in better hands, so it's great to have him.
Tell us about Coach Maher and just what he's brought and what you've been able to learn from him, how important his role has been for you personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brett really helped me out last year, getting me ready to go and in regards of like kind of what I could do. He's a genius. He picks up on the small things, and it really helps that he was a kicker himself. He kicked at the highest level for years. Whether it was in Canada and obviously in the NFL for a while. Coach Eck and the rest of the coaches we have for special teams know special teams really well, but the true kicking piece of it is Brett's specialty, and so him being able to give us that kind of expertise is huge for us.
Hey, during the Husker games, you and him were going kick for kick. That was quite the battle.
Yeah, he's still got it for sure. He's only a couple years out of the league. He's still got it for sure, but hopefully I get him soon.
Now that you've been around a few years and you're one of the older guys in the whole specialist group, you lose Brian Buscini, the dad of the group. How has that been transitioning for you guys, just stepping into more of a leadership role, but just continuing things on when you do lose a guy like Buscini?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's not a single person left in the room that I was, came here with as a freshman. Yes, I've been here the longest in the room, but, I still have, 3 years left. So, Kevin's played a lot of high-level football. Fluggy's got some experience himself. And, me, John, and Kyle have all played, double-digit games in college as kickers. So, I think the experience piece is huge.
Being that you have the experience from your freshman year, the little bit they had last year, coming off the injury, the spring football, what are the things that you're focusing on during this fall camp to be better, the things that you really want to focus on going into this season? Yeah,
I think experience is huge. I mean, I really think that I feel, a lot more confident and just, trust in my my process. I think, it's a lot different than me going out there as an 18-year-old. And then last year, I think, with the injury and everything, it taught me a lot about kind of like my mental toughness and everything. And so I feel really kind of just polished and, technique's good. Brett's here. He's helped me a lot with that. And then working with our sports psychologist, Dr. Stout, I really feel sharp. And for me, it all comes down to, I think, just ball striking and just controlling the controllables. So, yeah.
All right, tell us about Archie. We just had a chance to chat with him. He seems like he's another character added to the locker room.
Yeah, he is. Him coming from Australia, he says some odd things and some expressions that you don't hear every day for sure. But he's always every day you see him and you're always good for a few laughs with him, and it's just. You can tell he's still kind of young and just got here. Sometimes it's kind of just like the deer in the headlights look with everything. And him being here, it's different. But we all love him, and I can't wait to see where he goes. So.
The addition of having the rugby style punter, how big of a weapon can that be for this team this year?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a huge weapon. We have a ton of great athletes, and really getting to utilize that in our punt cover game. I think. I think that's huge, and we can really kind of take our special teams to another level, with someone like that. So yeah.
Now that you've been around and have gone through this a time or two, coming off the bowl game, the win, and then just again with year 3 with Coach Rule, how does it feel different this summer, and what you guys are able to really get done here over this really important time when you become a player-led team?
Yeah, I really think that everyone's first year, first couple of years, it's a lot of guys that may know the process, but are a little timid to still completely buy in. Whereas now I think it's truly like everyone's bought in. Like we realize the type of talent and team we have, and that now we just need to go be it and show it. And that comes down to just us truly buying into the little things and showing up every day and being 1% better than yesterday. So yeah.
Great stuff as always. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, the sophomore kicker, Tristan Alvano, because he played in 3 games last year before he was sidelined with the injury, was able to utilize a red shirt, so still has 3 full seasons left because played all of his freshman year, but being that he only played in 3, made 3 appearances last year, so just going to be a sophomore, but going into year 3. So always good to have experience. And I love what he said about attacking the mental side of it and how much Coach Maher has helped him out in navigating all of it and figuring out just the little things and even the mental side of it. So I'm excited to see how Tristan comes out and performs in fall, because I know he had a good spring, and so we'll see how he builds on that going into fall camp now that he is finally able to get fully healthy and feel good out there. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Nissan is the easy choice when shopping for your next vehicle. Receive 0% APR for 60 months on our full lineup of 2025 Nissan Muranos and Nissan Pathfinders. Get started online or visit us in Bellevue or Omaha off 144th and Giles Road today. With approved credit, tax title license extra when financed with NMAC. $299 doc fee due at signing. Murano based on sale price of $41,451. VIN number SC123452. Pathfinder based on sale price of $40,886. VIN number SC270450. Offer expires August 4, 2025. See dealer for details.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Just got about a minute left here of this first hour of Sports Nightly. Art in Los Angeles chimed in, sent a text in during our roundtable with the guys earlier. Said, I agree with Matt Coatney that Kyle is going to do great. I'm very impressed and have already become a big Kyle Krooks fan. He's very passionate and fun to listen to. Welcome to Husker Nation GBR. Appreciate that text, Art. Coming up next hour, we are going to have Kyle's going to be back with an interview with Tom Welter. So we are starting the series of conversations with the Nebraska Football Hall of Famers, that new class. So he's got Tom coming up in hour number 2, and then David is back with the joke of the week. And so he was, I think, a little upset we gave it to Henry last week. So he's back to, up Henry and what Henry did last week. So we'll see what he has for us coming up here in hour number 2. Nick Hanley also going to rejoin us here at the top of the hour of hour number 2. So we'll go ahead and get to a break, but lots more to come here on our final live show of the week before we have a best of show coming up tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly. Keep it here, hour number 2 just ahead.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Discover luxury at every mile at Woodhouse Lincoln. Take advantage of exclusive offers happening now during the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event. Receive 0% APR for up to 48 months on the 2025 Lincoln Nautilus, plus an available 90-day deferred first payment and a 2-year, 25,000-mile premium maintenance plan included. Browse our inventory in-store at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, must finance with Lincoln Finance. $299 doc fee due at signing. VIN 5LMPJ8KA1SJ898825. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Earlier today, the Nebraska men's basketball team was recognized for their academic achievement this past year. The program received the NABC Team Academic Excellence Award. The award is given to men's basketball programs that completed the academic year with a team GPA of 3.0 or higher. It's the second time in the last 3 seasons that Nebraska has been honored by the NABC. In other Husker basketball news, Leo Curtis continued action at the U20 Euro basketball tournament in Greece today. His Iceland team fell to Romania 72-57. That's despite Curtis finishing with 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. It was the first time in the 5 tournament games that he failed to reach double figures. Iceland will be back in action on Saturday. In national news, NBA star Damian Lillard has signed a 3-year, $42 million deal to return to the Portland Trail Blazers. And day 1 of the Open Championship was today, and Matt Fitzpatrick and Harris English are among 5 players at 4 under par to lead the way. Matthew Jordan and Scotty Scheffler are 2 of 4 players at 3 under and are tied for 6th. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
70 shoot high lob, caught by Petrie somehow underneath, in trouble, got to Hank for 3, Gotcha! Huskers made something out of nothing. I don't know how Petrie got it to Kellen Hank, who buried the Central Valley Egg 3.
Dice has the sign. He collects the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Casey Dice finishes it for Nebraska. The dog pile is on. The Nebraska Cornhuskers have run the table and run it back. Back-to-back Big Ten tournament champions.
Pass made Franklin, the slide, Robinson, block back! Call the grandkids! They did it! Nebraska sweeps Wisconsin for the 3rd time this season. And hello, Louisville! The Big Red back where it belongs. The Final Four, number 18 in school history.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody, Nick Hanley back with us here for this segment off the top of the hour. Nick, I know you weren't a part of that conversation we had earlier with Ben and Coatney and Kyle, but you have become as much a part of this Huskers Radio Network family, and we would not have been able to make it through this transition without you and your help on the show, but everything you've done. So appreciate you, too. I know we were talking earlier about the Huskers Radio Network family. You are absolutely a part of that. We could not have done these last 5-6 months without you.
I appreciate you saying that, but it is truly a labor of love. I was so excited to be able to help out and being able to, spend some of these shows with Greg and his final shows with us too. And I mean, our time together, you and I've had so much fun doing this with you as well. And it's been so cool being back in the booth with Ben for baseball. Again, I appreciate you thanking me, but I should be thanking you guys because it's something that I absolutely love to do, and I couldn't be doing it with a better group.
And also, thanks for being bad at golf picks, because that's part of what's made it so fun over the last few months.
Hey, Rory, he's not doing bad, is he? Huh? Rory. Now, Jordan Spieth's another question, although he at least salvaged what was a bad round into a not as bad round, but Shane Lowry's right around there and Rory, so I'm pulling for my Irishman.
No, I think, and we've talked about Kyle coming on board, and I know he's super appreciative, too, of your help, and you're allowing him to transition into this because it's a lot to learn and a lot to kind of figure out how he's going to navigate broadcasting it's a huge undertaking and stepping into that role. But then also being on the show, you got to know a lot about a lot of different things. So I know he's appreciative, and you're going to stay on with us throughout first couple weeks of fall camp, and then I know we've talked to you about helping us out on Sports Nightly in the fall when we have some conflicts with travel and stuff. So even we're not winding down. You're actually helping us out next week. I'm going to be out of town. So you're still going to be around, obviously, even with Kyle making the transition. So I did want to point that out, though. Not like we're saying goodbye to you anytime soon.
Oh, and hey, no, I appreciate it. It's once everything gets going, I don't think we get these moments to just appreciate the company that we have right now. And I think with the addition of Kyle, this group is so strong, and Kyle's going to be a rock star as well. And this is, as you know, and Ben and everybody you just talked to there in hour number one, how important that hire was going to be, knowing who Kyle was replacing was going to be very special to us as well. And everything that I've seen from Kyle and finally getting a chance to meet him as well, I have no doubt in my mind that everyone made the right decision in bringing Kyle in.
Okay, so we started this conversation last night about the college football playoff and expanding, and the SEC and Big Ten seem to be at an impasse. I mean, we said last night that we'll see what Tony Petitti says at his press conference coming up at Big Ten Media Days. But Brett McMurphy had a quote that he posted on his social that it sounds like the Big Ten's pretty firm unless the SEC changes their scheduling and picking up an extra conference game. But Art in Los Angeles had texted him while we were talking about it and how we ideally wanted to see it stack up. And he said the college playoffs should be structured like March Madness. That way we get to watch more football. And for Nick, too, he wants to see March Madness continuing to expand, too.
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't. Yep. Thanks for bringing that one up. How much more time do we have on this segment? Because you're opening up that can of worms.
Barking
right
up
there.
the wrong tree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating to hear what Tony Petitti is on this. And I think that for the first time, I don't want to say for the first time in a long time, because I think anytime the commissioner has a chance to speak, we remember the uncharted territory before and after COVID, and really just wanting some type of transparency from Kevin Warren when he was the Big Ten commissioner. So these conference commissioners, they always have a lot of big ticket items that they have to address. But this whole alignment with the SEC seemed like these guys were going to be on the same page. Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti and the two conferences were going to align themselves. And it's interesting the approach that Greg Sankey is taking right now, and I can appreciate what he's doing. And that is still a little bit reluctant or not fully bought in on the 9-game conference schedule for the SEC. And the reason behind that is because there's been a lot of pushback from the football coaches on this. And so there's a conference commissioner that is at least letting the coaches and their voices be heard, because there are, without question, a lot to gain financially when it comes to being aligned with the Big Ten, having the same amount of conference games and financial part, and also the bragging rights. I mean, we know these are two very competitive conferences that like to beat their chests and say, we're the best. No, we're the best. But to hear your coaches and hear their concerns about jumping to 9 and to at least entertain that and maybe resist what the financial benefit could be by being able to align yourself with the Big Ten, have the exact same conference schedule or conference amount of conference games, and then being able to put yourself in a model and trying to push it through to where every year, regardless of how strong your conference is, every year you're guaranteeing 4 teams from your conference to make it in to an expanded 16-team college football playoff. Obviously, there are financial benefits to doing something like that. But it is interesting that the SEC has really been reluctant to make that one small change. So I do think that until that change is made, I don't think you're going to see those two conferences fully aligned when it comes to decisions like this with the college football playoff expansion.
Yeah, and I guess, and to further expand on that, here we are again, and we can't come to an agreement because everybody's looking out for their own, right? And the NCAA basically has nothing to do with college football anymore. And I feel like we're getting to the point where we're in desperate need of something overseeing a little bit more structured-wise with the college football and college athletics in general. I know the big reports today is that President Trump apparently is maybe putting together an executive order, which I know that even at the political level, even in Washington, it's split. And so it's just hard to get anybody to agree on everything. But you're still seeing a bunch of lawsuits. People are pushing back on the NIL, the new settlement. Sounds like there's just a lot of still turmoil, and I'm hoping that somehow, some way soon, we can find a way to get some structure and some leadership that can help bring it together, and that we're not just completely, I guess, flying by the seat of our pants every single day in this new world of college athletics.
And I got to say that I'm a bit surprised with where things have gone to this point, because I think there was always that feel that, okay, the SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to call the shots. They're going to get in lockstep. And if you want to be a part of the bigger plan, which, as I think we all know, we're eventually getting to that world where the Power Four will be its own thing in college football. The NCAA will take care of the championship events of the Olympic sports, but when it comes to college football, it's becoming so big, and those conferences in particular are becoming so big that you need something that is larger than what the NCAA can oversee. I'm curious if this is some posturing by the SEC. Because at some point, Greg Sankey's going to have to make that decision. And I think Greg Sankey understands how big the scope of this entire thing is. That I want to side with my athletic directors and coaches, but are we missing an opportunity? Because to what you just said right there, how many times are we going to look to not necessarily expand the college football playoff, but tweak the requirements of getting in? And I think if there's one thing that we can control in college football, it's things like this, where we can settle in on 16 teams. And for maybe the next 4 or 5 years, we will finally know exactly what it takes. And I think for college football coaches, when it comes to recruiting, you understand how you can get into the college football playoff, and you are recruiting accordingly. And you're trying to put together a roster that, okay, we don't have to be a 12-0 team. A 9-win team could potentially a 9-win season could potentially get us into the college football playoff. But if you're in the SEC, well, we're going to play 8 conference games, at least for now, but we might move to 9. And when we move to 9, we might finally go into a different format of that 16-team playoff to where 4 out of our conference are also guaranteed in. I just think all of this still being up in the air, and I know at some point we'll have this in writing, we'll see what it is, but my biggest question is, are we going to have this same conversation next year and the year after that, until the 2 most powerful conferences in college football can get in lockstep and take this thing to where it's, I think, inevitably going to be taken?
Hey, one more thing, and then we'll let you get out of here. But we were talking a lot, and I'm just completely switching gears, but hey, we're up against the time on this because we have to leave time for Joke of the Week, the most important segment of the week. But with the Major League Baseball draft, we were talking about potential maybe shuffling in the roster, and I know Evan Bland had put out a report. Dylan Carey sounds like he might be coming back. That's a big get for this baseball team to have Dylan Carey back.
100%. And Jessica, you asked me the question, the position of most confidence. Well, now you can look at the infield and you can say if there's a strength of this team going into it. And that doesn't mean that all of a sudden the pitching is not an area of strength. I still think that is going to have a huge impact on this team. But if you don't have to replace your infield, given the fact that Rhett Stokes is back at second, you look at Case Sanderson at first, who I think is just getting going, especially offensively. But Dylan Carey, one of the most sure-handed athletic shortstops we've seen play that position, and there's been some good ones. Guy that's pitching in the major leagues, and Spencer Schwellenbach, he was a pretty darn good one as well. There have been many to play that position. Dylan Carey does it extremely well, and having Joshua Overbeek back at third, that entire infield coming back in 2026, that is a huge, huge lift for a team that's still going to have a lot of new faces, and new faces are going to have to fill some really big roles.
One more thing I wanted to hit on, because before we head to Big Ten Media Days starting next week, because this is another thing that was been all over my timeline, and while I don't necessarily want to spend as much time diving into the list, but I know the New York Times put out a list of rating quarterbacks, and it was a tier system and all of that. Did you read that article?
I did, yes.
And so it had Dylan Raiola coming in at number 40, and I think tier 4. And, I all that aside, we can argue where he should be, where he shouldn't be. I don't know. I don't think Dylan minds it, and I think it might be good for him to go in, maybe not as much of the spotlight on him. I know he'll still have the spotlight here, but, from a national level, maybe that he's not being talked as much about. I think he is going to enjoy, I think he's a player that's wired. He kind of likes proving people wrong.
And there are certain players that will will prove people wrong vocally. They'll bring it up a lot during interviews. Like Big Ten Media Days, I could see him being asked a question about that.
Well, that's what I brought that up because I think he will probably be asked about it.
He probably will,
yeah.
and I think the type of answer you're going to get from him is, "That's fine.
I'm not worried about it." Yeah,
I'm not worried about it. I need to improve my game. So if I want to be an elite level quarterback that I think I can be, I need to make those strides this season and continue to head in that direction. So I think there are just certain guys that they're like, you know what, cool. I'm going to let my work and my performance do the talking. And if I'm really worthy of a top 25 type ranking when it comes to the quarterback position, you're going to see that on Saturdays. There are certain guys that are just driven and wired that way, and there's no question that Dylan is one of those guys.
He was up here yesterday doing his media day shoot, and he's, I go back to the time that I had at Oklahoma when I was covering like a Baker Mayfield and a Kyler Murray. And I actually told Dylan's mom this on the sideline last year. I said, he's been as enjoyable of a quarterback to be around to cover as the Heisman Trophy winners that I covered at Oklahoma. And those two guys were great. And I had great relationships with those guys. But Dylan already, he's how he handles himself. Like you said, he's not going to buy into it. When we have seen some players maybe buy into that and get baited a little bit in some of these situations, he won't do that. And just how he interacts with people, his teammates throughout that, the people that were working the media day, just how much he's just a joy and a light. And I think he's a great player, but he's also a great person. That makes it even more enjoyable when you got a quarterback like that.
The reason I'm so confident that he will succeed because he's wise beyond his years. We've all just reveled in his physical attributes, but it's his mind. It is that work ethic. It's that ability to process things in the moment. It's the ability to take a good play, process it, and be able to duplicate that, and take a bad play, process that, and not do that again. And I cannot wait to see the improvements from the offseason from freshman year to sophomore year with that valuable experience that he gained as a true freshman. And the fact that he did go through some ups and downs. I think even for Adrian Martinez, when he was a freshman going into that sophomore year, we're very excited, but he had so many highs that he was being propped up into a level that I don't think he was quite there yet. I think for Dylan, it is that exponential growth that you saw last year that I think is perfect for him because he is, again, a student of the game on top of being a great player. He's got the support and the work ethic that has been ingrained in him since he was a little boy and being the son of Dominic Raiola. I mean, from the family and knowing how to handle stuff like that to the coaching staff and his teammates that know how to handle things like that. He's surrounded by a tremendous support system that I cannot wait to see what this sophomore year looks like for him.
He asked Kyle what his touchdown call was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I said, he'll probably take some suggestions if QB1 has any, But
can we bid on those? Can we if we get the winning bid, then we can suggest a touchdown call?
Hey, that's a great idea.
We're always looking for ways to make some money here and there, right?
We should think about that. Let's circle back on that. All right, Great stuff. As always, we'll talk to you again next week. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Nick Hanley here with us on Sports Nightly. Hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee, where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Up next, Kyle sits down with Tom Welter, one of the newest inductees into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%. All while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
All right, welcome back to Sports Nightly. Kyle Krooks now getting set to welcome in a very special guest as we get set to usher in a new class into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. That special guest, well, that's Tom Welter, who was an offensive lineman here in the 80s and did a lot of winning here in Lincoln. We're going to get a chance to talk about his time here as a Husker. He will be going into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame on Friday, September 12th with a special ceremony, and then honored on the field when Houston Christian is in town on September 13th. First things first, Tom, how are you? And congratulations, one of the newest Nebraska Football Hall of Fame members.
Well, I'm well. Thanks for asking, and thank you so much for recognizing the accolades. I appreciate that.
So what does this mean to you? We'll start out a pretty simple question. Being a Hall of Famer, that's pretty cool. What does that mean to you?
It's a culmination of a journey, and not only for myself, but the people that are around me. And it's been, I guess, 40 years or so since I first stepped on the University of Nebraska campus, and lots of work, lots of camaraderie, lots of teamwork, and lots of studying, and it all ended up here, and pretty exciting. I've had quite a year this year. I'm working over at the University of Nebraska College of Business Administration, working with the Department of Entrepreneurship. I'm on the advisory board with the college and a community fellow with entrepreneurship, and so it's just been a great opportunity for me to be getting back to Nebraska, not only for academics, but for athletics.
Yeah, how important was that to you to stick around the university and give back to a place that gave you so much?
Yeah, really important. And, I stayed close with a lot of really good friends that I had. Dr. Pat Clare, rest in peace, a friend of mine, Doak Ostergaard, somebody who taped my ankles consistently, Dennis LeBlanc in the academic area, folks like that I've stayed connected with over the years. And, ultimately with the administration, Troy, Trev, Matt Rule, I was back last year to meet and see. So I've stayed connected with the people that I know at Nebraska, and I'm kind of aging out of the system, to be honest with you. So introducing myself to new administrations as they come through.
Well, now you're a Hall of Famer, and a big reason why. Let's get to some of the playing years that you had here in the mid-'80s. All-American, your senior year. What stood out to you maybe about how great of a season you had your senior season to cap things off with that Sugar Bowl win against LSU? That 86 year for you, you had been here redshirted to start out, and then you finish up as an All-American. How cool was it to sort of cap your career that way?
It's great. 10-2s, we love that. That year we lost to Colorado, and then we were the first team that wore all red, I think, when we played Oklahoma, and we were up late in the game, 4th and 3. They had the ball in their territory, and we got a penalty, and we lost that game ultimately as a result of that drive, and then they kicked a long field goal. That would have sent us to the Orange Bowl, and I think we would have played for the national championship. So a little bittersweet, but going back to the Sugar Bowl, always such a great opportunity to go do that and beat LSU on their home field. So lots of fun there.
I had a chance to meet Coach Osborne yesterday, and just to see the aura, and you read a lot of books about the history of Nebraska football. And, well, let me ask you to encapsulate your experience here and playing for a legendary coach and an offensive line coach in Milt Tenneper, who was, well, a legend of his profession. I mean, he built the pipeline of great offensive linemen here at Nebraska. Those two guys, you could probably put both of them on a Mount Rushmore together for Nebraska football. What did they mean to your experience here?
Well, I mean, you think back to my freshman year, I guess redshirt freshman year, when I was on the field in '84 for the 50th anniversary Orange Bowl. And the reason Tom Osborne had the faith to go for 2 was Milt Tenneper and the line that Milt Tenneper had built. He had faith that line would hold up, and that Turner Gill would have that opportunity to throw that pass. And, Milt, listen, I worked for Mount Rushmore myself. It started with Cletus Fisher, and I was offensive lineman on Cletus's last year when I was a junior. Legend. Milt Tenneper, like you said, built the pipeline, and then Dan Young. So unfortunately, all of them won't be there for me as I get inducted on the 12th, but people I'll take with me into the Hall.
And how fun was it as an offensive lineman to be a part of this run-heavy attack? I know you think back to the '83 season. That was a redshirt season for you, but the scoring explosion offense, as they coined it. And I'll get your thoughts sort of on that season as you watched it from a different view. But as you get more and more playing time in this run-heavy attack, this I formation, how did it feel to be a part of that, a centerpiece in that offensive line in this specific style of offense in which Coach Osborne played?
Yeah, so a couple things that, when they're averaging 59 points a game, Tom Welter, as a redshirt freshman, was getting in the third quarter because folks didn't want to hurt those first and second stringers. So we were going in against Syracuse and UCLA and other teams, and we're scoring against them. So we're the third and fourth team offensive line and getting in there and getting some experience, which was wonderful. And I think I looked up just the other day just to know. I think we averaged 5.9 yards per carry when I was a junior. That's a lot. I mean, almost 6 yards every time you touch the ball. But I tell you what's exciting to me, and I miss it, double tight, I formation, one split end sitting out there, and we're going to run the ball at you, and we dare you to stop us.
And that was the identity for decades, right? Just let's line up and let's beat you with our physicality. You take that sense of pride, and that's what Husker football was and tries to continue to be. That's the standard that this program always tries to live up to. You take a sense of pride in building that standard that so many fans always continue to look back to.
Well, it's funny, absolutely. But you think about that, how do you teach a kid who's 18, 20 years old to say, you're going to move somebody backwards 3 yards that doesn't want to go there?
Yeah.
And that person to say, okay, I got it. So you equip yourself with, the knowledge of the play and the faith in the coach and the strength of Boyd Epley, and you kind of figure that out and get it done. And I tell you, to be able to work as a team, as a unit, and to push folks around for 60 minutes, pretty exciting. And I tell you what, it's also the guys that you're doing it for, Tom Rathman, Doug DeBose, Keith Enzone Jones, Ken Kalen. People are just pounding the rock, and guess what? They're not running out of bounds. They're dropping a shoulder and getting 2 extra yards. So when they're doing that, you better do your job too.
Talking with Tom Welter, who's going to go into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. That'll be on September 12th with a special ceremony, then honored on the field on September 13th. You mentioned the name Boyd Epley and sort of the genesis of strength and conditioning programs and how they've grown to what they are now, but how it all seemed to start here with Nebraska. Can you take me into some of those off-season sessions, those strength sessions, because we see the end result on the field. We see the wins and how there are a lot more wins than losses during your tenure and many tenures previous in the 80s, the 70s, 80s, 90s. Can you take me through what a strength and conditioning program is like, what Boyd Epley built here?
Yeah, I think, godfather of sports training and conditioning, and, it didn't end with, the season. The off-season programs were especially fun. I share with you a story. We'd have winter conditioning, which was, a lot of running and a lot of drills. And we used to go down into, you may have heard of it, Mushroom Gardens down underneath the stadium. And there's a gravel track that you'd run around. I think it was from back in the 50s. Secret, those on the line that may not know, the linemen, we tried to hide behind those pillars because we couldn't run around that track for 15, 20 minutes. But in all seriousness, Boyd put us on a great program. He encouraged us. He had great strength coaches, Randy Goebel, Jerry Schmidt, and others, folks that went on to coach in other places. But he was at the epicenter of strength and conditioning. And, Tom was one that brought him in to do that. And it paid off in a big way in the 80s. And in the fourth quarter, we were there and we were strong and we were alive. And we won a lot of games in the fourth quarter.
And, Tom, you're a Yankton, South Dakota guy, not too far here from Lincoln, Nebraska. But did you grow up as a Husker fan with the legend of Husker football, always wanting to play football here at Nebraska? Was this always the dream for you?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know what major college football was all about. A friend of mine introduced me to it in the early 80s. And literally, I remember, I think it was 82 or 83, I came down to the Iowa game and Nebraska got beat. And it was interesting, but I was able to take in Memorial Stadium atmosphere. Well, Penn State came a couple of weeks later and beat Nebraska. So Nebraska started 1-2 that year. And that was my first experience. But I tell you what, you could tell that it was a real program. I think they went on to play almost, for the national championship that year. But, once I got a taste of it and a look at it, man, I was hooked. I knew that's where I wanted to go. And even though I talked to some other folks, I was pretty certain that this is where I wanted to be.
Chatting with Tom Welter, did you feel an immense pressure week in, week out to win football games? I know a lot of places that's the standard, but here at Nebraska, especially when you were playing here, it was just different. Did you guys feel that on a week in, week out basis? The pressure to win games, to win national championships, did that ever lay heavy on your shoulders at all?
Well, Tom would start the season off, and he'd get on the chalkboard, Dr. Tom, and he'd share with us what the goals were for the season with the whole team. And the goal was always to win the Big Eight. And I think Tom's philosophy was, if you won the Big Eight, you'd be in a good position to do something else. Because you had Colorado, you had Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State was good at the time too. Your ranking would be high enough to where you'd go to the Orange Bowl and potentially play for all the marbles. So I'd say pressure, no. I think the pressure that individuals had for themselves was to grade out, to do a good job. We were a performance-based team. Every play I ever ran at Nebraska had a grade put on it and was reviewed and filmed. So I guess there was pressure to become the best you could be with the system that you were working within.
And that leads me to my next question, because you referenced the Big Eight, and a lot of fans, they reminisce a lot about the days and those rivalries with Oklahoma and Colorado and Missouri. You mentioned Oklahoma State was good back when you played, in Kansas. Do you think back to some of those rivalry games and how charged up those environments were in those old Big Eight games?
I mean, there's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
It was just greatness, getting on a bus and driving down to Kansas or to Iowa State, going to Ames, and Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I remember we played Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I think we were 5 and they were 3, and their running back was Thurman Thomas, and their backup was Barry Sanders. You think about that, or playing against Brian Bosworth, the Boss. Those type of experiences come around once in a generation, and we were fortunate enough to play at that time.
A lot of trash talk back in those days, Tom, in those Big Eight rivalry games. Like, if those guys were mic'd up, there's a lot of things that were said that you can't repeat, right?
Yeah, I mean, Tom is, Coach Osborne was, such a gentleman that, he really, I think he set the standard for us where, we held ourselves to a high standard of discipline. Folks helping people up off the turf, and there's nothing to be ugly about. And I think our fans represent that too. Cheering for folks as the fans, even if we were to lose at home, which was infrequent. I think we were 41-8 the time that I was there, but our fans are exceptional, the best in the country, and known for it. But the players, I honestly just don't remember a lot of fighting. We played to the whistle, and I was kind of an enforcer. I kind of played to the echo of the whistle, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we're chatting with Tom Welters heading into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. That'll be early in the month of September. September 12th will be the ceremony for that. And we'll wrap up with this question, Tom. Yeah, how many of the teammates that you played with, and I'm sure you think highly of to this day, and a big reason why you're getting set to go into that Hall of Fame, you still stay in touch with a lot of the teammates that you had in the 80s?
I do. And, now with electronics and, keeping people's phone numbers for long periods of time, I've stayed close with a lot of my friends, and I see them often. When I get back to Nebraska, I get an opportunity to see them. So I've reached out to a few of them that have meant so much to me. When I go into the Hall of Fame on the 12th, I'm not going in by myself. I'm going in, on the shoulder of giants and people that I played with and teammates that helped me get there, and people that facilitated this. It was not just a journey of Tom Welter. It was a journey of people that helped Tom Welter in order to get there. And I appreciate every single one of them, and I won't forget that.
Well, there's going to be so many people cheering you on that September 12th night when you go into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. We'll be honored on September 13th as well on the field when Houston Christian is in town to take on the Huskers. One of the all-time great offensive linemen in the history of Nebraska football, Tom Welter. We appreciate the time, and congratulations to Nebraska Football Hall of Famer.
Thank you so much.
All right, we continue on Sports Nightly after this on the Huskers Radio Network.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. It is that time of the week for Joke of the Week. And David is back. How'd you feel about Henry's performance last week?
You know, Henry and I was here as producing. We talked it through, and he did a fantastic job. Couldn't be prouder from the intern standpoint. So I'm trying to keep that high rating as we go on.
You know, I think I had spoken that maybe we'd be narrowing it down, but I think we might have to extend it a couple more weeks. So we still have a few more weeks. So we'll keep it rolling for a couple more weeks because Nick wants to be the finale, the season finale. So got to stretch it out maybe 2 or 3 more weeks. So, all right. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Got a good one for us?
Oh, yeah. I got like a summer-based joke. It's a camping joke.
Okay.
So here we go. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson go camping and pitch their tent under the stars, and they go to sleep inside. And during the night, Holmes wakes his companion and says, "Watson, look up at the stars and tell me what you deduce." Watson says, I see millions of stars, and even if a few of those have planets, it's quite likely that some of those planets are like Earth, and if there are a few planets like Earth, that means there also might be other life out there. And Holmes replies, Watson, you idiot, somebody stole our tent.
I don't think I get it.
Okay.
I even tried to pay attention.
Okay. Should I just say the whole thing again?
No, just explain it.
Okay. Because they set up the tent, so it's all perfect. It's all covered. They wake up in the middle of the night. You look up, you should see the roof of the tent, but somebody stole the tent, so they're just outside in the open.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes.
I got it. All right. What do we have here? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and then we will get to some reaction on the other side of this. What did you think of David's joke here on Joke of the Week on Sports Nightly? Let us know on our text line 402-413-2400, and I see some guys already chiming in on the chat as well. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly, our final segment here tonight. David has just delivered this week's Joke of the Week. We have some feedback rolling in. Dennis gives you a 4 on the text line, but that's the lowest I've seen, so it only goes up from here. Art in Los Angeles says, B jokes will always get a perfect 10. Just a reminder, LOL, I give this joke a perfect 8. Haha, they stole the tent. LOL, it's funny, GBR. I know. Look, Davis, I have to have everything explained to me twice, so it's not like I just don't get a lot of the jokes the first time, and I even tried to remind myself to really pay attention this time. Okay, what do we get on the chat? You got a few things rolling in here?
Well, I see that Husker and Hanover gave me an 8.5.
And he's a tough grader.
This is true. And if we round that, that's a 9. And I think just round it up to a 10. I think that's how we're going to play this game today.
Burnt World says he happens to be a Sherlock Holmes fan. So if you can't hit the B's, you got to get the Sherlock Holmes fans. And he gives you a 9.
Boom. Okay.
Break down cryptos for us. And I got another text rolling in here.
He said, I ranked this joke in 3 categories as usual. For delivery, I got an 8. For funny, also an 8. And the best part, and David being a very cool dude, a perfect 10. So thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, so Patrick from North Platte gives you a 5.
Oh, man. Lots of ups and downs. Okay.
We're going down. Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We need somebody else that got it.
5.3.
We're going down. We're going down. Your rating's going down, David.
5.3 too long. No.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, that's part of it. It doesn't always appeal to everybody.
This is
and
true.
also, Cole used to say if you hit, 1 out of 3?
Something like that.
You're hitting, and so far I think you've been batting perfect. So
yeah, so.
I think you're due a subpar batting outing. So
I was due for a bad one. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, good stuff. Thank you for delivering, and we'll have you again. So someone just chimed in, said there's room for improvement, but it's still good. I'll give it an 8.5. The way you deliver it is amazing because, I mean, we've talked about this. You're used to speaking in public. That's what you do. You're very good at that. You're a national champion, all that good stuff. So the way you deliver is spot on. I don't think you can improve there.
I'm going to lean on that for the future as well, for jokes like that.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, David, with this week's joke of the week, I did want to spend the last few minutes here telling you about, well, first of all, let me remind you, the Nebraska football road race coming up on Sunday. So you can do the 1 mile fun run and the 5K. You can still sign up for that at huskers.com/road race. The deadline is passed to get the $10 off. That was Wednesday. That was last night. But you can still sign up, still be a part. Going to be a great event. We've talked about it, but Kyle Krooks is planning on, again, he's running the 1 mile fun run, the kids race, because he didn't really know what he was signing up for. And so when he told me what he signed up for, I said, you might be the only person over 12, but that's okay. He's going to participate. So Kyle's going to be out there representing for the Huskers radio network. But again, a lot for a great, great cause benefiting Team Jack, the Team Jack Foundation, all of those proceeds going to childhood research and all the funding and right here in the state of Nebraska at the the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. So all that, so great cause. Team Jack, such a near and dear organization to the Nebraska football heart. So be out there, come join us, and again, sign up early at huskers.com/road race. And mention that this is our last live show of the week. We'll have another best of show coming up tomorrow, and Josh has put together a good one. Taking us back to 1995, Nebraska volleyball versus Texas. Yep, the national title match, and in fact would lead to the Huskers' first ever national championship when they knocked off Texas there in that 1995 NCAA tournament. I actually got a chance to talk with Lisa Reitzma this week, and what a great conversation. We'll have that for you coming up here in the next couple of weeks, but she was a part of that, was a sophomore, and ended up being an All-American during that run. But talking to her about, could you have imagined what was to come for Husker volleyball after that? So really neat. Can't wait to hear that. And Josh has done such a great job this whole summer of putting those together. Also, update on Huskers in the NBA Summer League. Bryce Williams did not play today, but Jack McVay once again leads the Atlanta Hawks in scoring. So that's back-to-back games that he has led the Hawks in scoring as the Hawks knock off the Memphis Grizzlies 92-88. All right, well, that is going to do it for us here on this edition of Sports Nightly. By the way, Patrick from North Platte, David, weighs in and says your delivery is a 10. So there you go. So that evens out that score there. But again, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Camden and David, Russ. The roundtable earlier was so fun with Ben and Kyle and Coody. So appreciate everybody that was a part of this. And it's been a crazy week. We've been doing a lot of interviews. There's been a lot of things going on up here. So, but a fun week. And like I mentioned, a lot of the stuff we've been kind of gathering this week will be rolling out for you here over the next couple of weeks. And we've got Big Ten Media Days next week, which Kyle will be there for us, bringing us all the coverage. All right, that's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening and watching on our YouTube stream. And we'll talk to you Monday for a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly. Have a great one.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Make this summer unforgettable with a new ride from Woodhouse Chevy. Whether you're heading to the lake, the campsite, or just cruising with the windows down, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle to get you there in style and comfort. Explore current offers happening now online, or visit us in store at one of our 2 locations in Omaha and Missouri Valley. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive.